Well, from that story on to this now, more than 500,000 eligible voters registered for the first time this weekend to participate in next year's general election. The figure is about 1 million less than what the IEC was anticipating, at least in terms of targeted new voters on the voters roll. They were aiming for at least 1 million people. They've only been able to get, just over 500,000. Juniour Khumalo has been attending the IEC's feedback briefing a little bit earlier on. So, Juniour, a little bit off target for the IEC. What do they have to say about that?
Indeed, Kathy, they were a bit off target. The target that they had set themselves was 1 million new eligible voters that they wanted to register over this two-day weekend. And what they managed to register was 440,000 young people between the ages of 16 and 29. In total, the new eligible voters were 550, just over 550,000 that they managed to register. And the IEC said they are still going to continue pursuing young people and trying to convince them to register. We know that there are over 30 million eligible South Africans who are still not registered to vote. So the IEC said it will continue in its job to try and register as many South Africans as possible before next year's elections. We know there's one more round of voter registration which is going to happen next year in January. The date has not been set yet by the IEC, but they said they are definitely going to continue to try and pursue younger people and younger eligible voters to try and come and vote in next year's polls, Kathy.
About the voter management device that the IEC has been speaking about as a means of at least managing how they process those that do show up to the registration centres. How have these devices fared? And I think just more broadly, what were the problems and the challenges that they experienced over the weekend?
So the IEC had about 23,000 voting stations across South Africa. Each voting station had a voter management device. Depending on the size of these voting stations, some of them had about 2 of these devices. And these devices have been loaded as having been working efficiently throughout the 2 days during this voter registration period. And they have limited the time that takes these individuals to register their identification numbers, their proof of address, all of these things. It takes about less than 5 minutes for all of these individuals to register online. So Sai Mamabolo, the CEO of the IEC, said they had improved the efficiency of the registration process. About 2.7 million of the 2.9 million South Africans who turned out to register to vote came physically to these voting stations, and these VMDs were used to register these individuals. There were problems in some areas, but the main problems were not the voter management machines. They were actually the online platform, where some South Africans received a pending message, so they could not conclude their registration process. And the IEC has urged such South Africans to come back and try and re-register online. The online registration process is open until the president proclaims the elections date. So they are open to re-registering. This challenge, apparently, according to the IEC, is being attended to, and they will try and resolve it so that a lot of South Africans can, instead of going physically to these registration stations, do it from the comfort of their homes, Kathy.
Juniour Khumalo will leave it there just with some of those highlights out of the IEC briefing.